So when you look back at all of this and you kind of reflect, what did choosing yourself cost you? Like when you think about emotionally, mentally, the family dynamics and relationships.
Yeah, it cost me a lot of validation and approval that I really had to set down. I think growing up, definitely the thing I wanted to do the most was like please my parents. That's where my validation was coming from. Like my feeling like I was doing a good job, that I was a good person, that I was good enough. It was always coming from my parents. It was always coming from my church community too, because I grew up in a small island, small church community. Yes, everybody on the island knows me. I know everybody on the island. I'm exaggerating, but only a little bit because honestly, it's mostly true. But like the validation that I grew up seeking and thriving off of had to be let go to pursue this thing. So I had to find a new center of identity, or really, I just had to separate myself from having to have the approval of people that I grew up having the approval of, which was actually, it was very like it shifted my entire frame of reference, my entire like dynamic view of myself, because now I had to like unattach from other people's like opinions of me. Like I had to unattach from other people thinking I was doing the right thing. Um, and I just had to be sure in myself. So really what it cost me was that approval. Did it cost me some relationships? To an extent. Like I'm not gonna go like down and too deep into the whole church thing, but like
Mhm.
my church community could be really harsh is not the word. I'm gonna say strict. I mean, like, there's just, as I grow more into who I am and what I'm doing, there's just a disconnect where, and they have traditionally been one of those churches where if you're not working in the church, then you're not necessarily working for the Lord. And because I grew up in a
Okay.
ministry family and because my dad is a pastor, and I worked in ministry a lot growing up, did I have a choice? But we're not going down that road. But like a lot of people had certain expectations about what I would be doing and where I would be serving. And people probably expected me to be using all of my talents within the four walls of a church. And that
Mhm.
is some people's calling, but that's not my calling. And so like there is an approval that I had to learn to go without. Like I am not active in the church like that anymore, the way I used to be. And it's weird because it's like people expect you to stay not in a bad way, but maybe in a bad way. Like there's almost an expectation for you to stay small, right?
Okay.
And I'm not small. I'm so sorry. That's not how God made me. So it's almost like when I went home 2 years ago to go to a church event, one of the pastors in our church asked me if I think what I'm doing is what God wants me to do. And I'm like, yes, I do actually. And I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think so. So it's almost like there's just like this underlying, nobody's overt with it, right? Nobody's like,
Mhm.
you're a sinner because you want to be a writer and director. But there's this underlying of, you want to work in Hollywood in the Satan's playground? Like there's this underlying of
Okay.
you're not using your talents for the Lord type of something.
Mhm.
And so like there's just a lot of like people's approval and people's opinions that I had to learn to just let go, just let it go and move on and stop seeking understanding, stop seeking approval and validation from people whose calling is not my calling. So I would say those are the things that I had to sacrifice. And I also very much had to sacrifice being close to home and having my community close to me. Because as much as I am an introvert, guys, I know you guys can't tell. But like growing up in a small community really conditions your mind in a different way. Like the fact that I now live in a place where I was not born and literally nobody that I'm related to by blood lives anywhere close to me. Like if I want to see a family member, I gotta get on a plane and take at least a 3 hour flight, right? And if I want to go to my house, I gotta it's at least a 6 hour travel time, right? So I have sacrificed proximity with my family and with my community in pursuit of this thing. Which actually, the older that I get, the more I realize how big the sacrifice is, because it just can be hard to be alone in a place that, while I love being here, except for in the winter, um, it could just be hard to be alone, you know? So definitely sacrificing that. But yeah, I think those are the sacrifices, girl.